Kia ora. This is John Winters, Supermarket Sleuth, talking to you once again from Auckland in New Zealand. And what are we starting with this week? Well, this week we're going to start off with one of my specials, this time a shorter one, and I'm going to be talking about dates on products. Now, we're quite used to seeing used by dates on perishable products. That's quite common and very good. We need to know when we shouldn't eat it anymore. But what about best before dates? Now, in Australia they are talking about this and thinking about what should be done about best before dates, whether they should remain or not. And I think that's an important issue and should be discussed in all countries, whether best before it works or not. Now, I know it creates a business for some retailers, grocery retailers, who take stock from supermarkets and from manufacturers that's close to the best before date and sell it cheap in their stores. But really, what the problem with best before dates, yes, that might be an advantage to those who can pick up things cheaper, but the disadvantage to best before dates is that they tend to discourage people from eating things, consuming things that in fact are no problem at all. I mean, how are we to know the difference between when that product is at its best and when it's not at its best? As long as it's not going bad, what is the difference at all? I would almost wager that most of you listening to this program would say, well, we couldn't tell when it's at its best or when it's not. So what is the point of having best before? The problem with best before date is that some consumers don't understand and they feel that, oh, it's not at its best, we better chuck it. And that's leading to a lot of food wastage, and food wastage is a huge problem in the world today. When you think of the millions of people who are starving, have nothing to eat at all, and here are people who are not starving, who've a reasonable amount to eat, and they're throwing away good food. And they're throwing away good food simply because that best before date encourages them to throw away the good food. The best before date should be dropped. All we need to know is eat by, consume by, or use by, whichever words you like to use, with a date on. And we know that after that date, then it's got to be thrown out. And I can guarantee that if we take to that new system of use by only, there'll be a lot less food wastage and people won't be losing money by throwing out things that are perfectly all right. That if they weren't perfectly all right, then these places that are sprung up to sell products near their best before dates, they would know they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't be able to sell those products if they weren't okay to sell. So that shows you that best before dates are okay and not to worry about them. So that's my whinge. I've beaten the drum for this week about that, but just consider it. Don't throw away things that are okay if they're not come to the used by date. Best before is perfectly all right, and you can eat it after that date and you won't come to any harm. I've eaten many a thing. Most of it tends to be what we should call shelf stable, which is packaged product, dry product, and there's nothing wrong with it. Also product in tins and in bottles. If it's not past the use by date, you can use it, and product in tins go on for a long time. And just a suggestion or a warning about products in tins. Now, when you open the tin, if you're not going to use the contents straight away, I suggest you tip it into a bowl or something before you put it in the fridge. Don't keep it in a tin, because the trouble is, if you do that, once the oxygen gets to the product and to the tin, it will start to feed in the lining of the tin into your product that's in the tin. Like it could be tin fruit, tin vegetables, tin meat, or whatever. So once you've opened it, and if you're not going to use it all that day, then just tip it into a bowl or something like that, and it'll stay in the fridge and it'll be perfectly fresh for a few days. So that's my advice. Right, okay, well, we'll start with what we're looking at this week. And we're looking at working together. And I'll put my glasses on because that'll be a lot easier to see. Normally, this wouldn't be allowed for supermarkets to work together, but we're not living in a normal situation at the moment. So the leading supermarkets in Australia have been given permission by the country's competition watchdog to continue working together to ensure food and groceries are readily available to consumers during COVID-19. At the start of the crisis in March, the ACC gave the green light to Woolworths, Aldi, Coles, Metcash and other grocery key retailers to coordinate with each other when working with manufacturers, suppliers, transport and logistics providers. This followed a period of frantic stockpiling by shoppers. The watchdog has granted an extended authorisation until the 31st of March next year, saying that it will benefit the public. Australia is certainly taking the lead here, as I'm not aware of other countries allowing their supermarkets to work together like this. Maybe you can prove me wrong, in which case send me an email at supermarketsleuth, all one word, @gmail.com. Now, zooming up to the UK, Aldi is continuing its move into the online channel by launching its first click and collect service there. It's currently running a trial of the service for its staff from a store in the Midlands and plans to extend this to customers in the coming weeks. During the pilot, Aldi staff can choose from a full range of grocery items online, then drive to their local store where their shopping is brought to their cars contact-free by store assistants. If it continues to be successful, the trial will be extended in the near future to the public across most of the 894 UK stores. The service would see customers offered time slots to arrive at dedicated click and collect points in store car parks to collect their shopping. And amid huge demand for grocery options, Aldi made its first move into the online grocery channel way back in April with a food parcel service to help vulnerable and self-isolating customers. Since then, it started trialling a rapid delivery service across stores in the East Midlands, London, Cambridge and Greater Manchester in partnership with Deliveroo. Now, fruit and vegetables are really good for us, so Sainsbury's is encouraging shoppers to buy more fruit and vegetables, offering bonus points to members of its Nectar loyalty schemes. In force until the 4th of October, the Great Big Fruit and Veg Challenge will give customers extra Nectar points to be spent at Sainsbury's and other retail partners. The promotion includes a new tracker on the Nectar app and websites. This sets personalised targets based on users' typical shopping habits and rewards customers who increase their purchase of fruit and vegetables through in-store and online purchases. Turning to Asda, a major price war is likely to break out in the UK if one of the two front-running private equity companies is successful in buying the Walmart-owned store. If successful, this company, which is Lone Star, is planning to discuss with Walmart the Asda pricing structure with a view to slashing prices to better compete in the British market. With the German discounters and Jacks already operating in the lower pricing segment, this is likely to have a huge impact on the Tesco's, Sainsbury's and Morrisons of this world. The latter is already using the Amazon platform to boost its sales, so this is going to put further pressure on the likes of M&S and Waitrose. Times are difficult for many who are out of work or on reduced pay during these virus difficulties, so this will be welcomed by shoppers. A supermarket source has said the value end of the market is the most attractive, and that will increase if we go into recession. They might look at investment in customer pricing. There are levers you can pull. So they're talking in that case about Lone Star. But while this may be good for shoppers, it will depend how much Lone Star would be prepared to invest in such a move for Asda. Invariably, as the suppliers in question also benefit from such tactics, I can see pressure being put on them to invest a percentage towards such cuts. However, until we know which bidder will win, we'll simply have to sit tight and wait and see. Now let's turn to a wider focus on supermarket prices in the UK. Like the rest of us, supermarkets keep a watch on what's happening with the impact of COVID-19 and realise that there's a lot more people out of work or on reduced wages, and so having a budget will be critical to survival in these hard times. With the focus more on price than quality, we find the supermarkets are certainly turning their thoughts in that direction. Latest grocery market figures from Kantar show year-on-year sales growth in August, when some aspects of pre-COVID-19 life resumed, decelerated to 8.8%, the lowest rate since April. One of the root causes has been the resumption of eating out. Take-home grocery sales for the longer 12-week period to 6 September rose by 10.8%, the sector's fifth consecutive period of double-digit growth, with most chains continuing to prosper. Kantar's data shows that fewer meals eaten at home meant consumers spent $155 million less in the supermarkets in the 4 weeks to 6 September compared with July. Alcohol sales dipped month on month, with wine down 5% and beer down 10%. Of course, people were venturing out to bars and restaurants. Meanwhile, online grocery sales rose by 77% year on year in the past 4 weeks, bringing cumulative increases in orders to £3.2 billion since lockdown began. Figures released by Nielsen shows that supermarket sales growth eased to 5.3% year on year, growth over the 4 weeks ending 5th September, showing new and permanent changes emerging in shopper behaviour. UK supermarkets continue to experience strong online sales in the last 4 weeks, with Nielsen's data showing that online supermarket sales were up again by 102%. It also shows that in the last 12 weeks ending 5th September, supermarkets experienced 10% more online shopping trips than in the 12 weeks to early June 2020, when lockdown was lifted. This shows online shopping is sticking, and those shoppers are shopping more often, driving growth in the channel. This impacted bricks and mortar sales, which fell by 1.6%, but sales across the convenience channels continued to grow and were up 6.4% in the last 4 weeks. Overall, spend per visit over all formats, including online, was up by 22% compared to the same time last year. Tesco is offering members of its loyalty scheme discounts of up to 50% on hundreds of products, having a further impact on the grocery price war. Now shoppers will be able to access exclusive deals on branded and own-label products by scanning their club card at the checkout or when shopping online. The club card prices offer will include brands such as Carte d'Or, Bird's Eye and McCain. More than 200,000 frozen products will be included at launch, with more products across other categories added over the coming weeks. Club card prices were first introduced last year as part of Tesco's centenary celebrations, but the retailer's recent move towards an EDLP strategy, which is everyday low prices, is said to include plans to drop promotions not under its loyalty scheme. Tesco also confirmed today that it's now extended its Aldi Price Match campaign to more than 500 own-label and branded items, with the retailer understanding that value for money was becoming more important as the UK heads into what is expected to be a lengthy recession. As expected, Ocado Retail saw a big jump in sales during its last quarter after the pandemic built huge demand for online deliveries. This also highlighted the success of its recent switch from Waitrose to M&S branded products. The joint venture between Ocado Group and its new partner Marks & Spencer saw revenues surge by up to 52% to £587.3 million over the 13 weeks to 30 August. Average orders per week climbed 9.6% to 345,000. Average order size of £141 was below COVID-related peaks, but still above pre-crisis levels. Ocado said retail sales had grown faster than in its second quarter due to demand staying high following the easing of the lockdown compared to a seasonally softer period in the third quarter of 2019. Meanwhile, the retailer said customers had responded well to this month's much-hailed switch to M&S products, with demand for the new range driving a 5-item increase in the number of products in customers' baskets. Now, moving away from supermarkets to products. Birdseye is expanding its Captain Birdseye range with the launch of crunchy tray bakes. These include MSC certified fish fillet topped with whole vegetables in a sauce finished with a crunchy topping. The Crunchy Tray Bake range will feature 2 products, the Garden Vegetables Tray Bake including broccoli, sugar snap peas and spinach, while the Mediterranean Vegetables Tray Bake has a collection of yellow, red and green peppers and tomatoes. Both are topped with crumb to add extra crunch. Each packet contains 2 servings and the trays are also recyclable as they're made from paper. That sounds very good. Wish they were down here in New Zealand. They'll be on sale towards the end of September at around £3. We'll end this week with 2 stories involving market leader Tesco. It's launched at Tesco Red Door. It describes as a new approach to disruptive innovation. As a virtual event, the retailer said it was inviting innovators with new products, ideas or emerging technologies with the potential to cause disruption in the future. They're being asked to contact its newly established innovation team. This team will be responsible for evaluating ideas, supporting firms to access Tesco and helping them to develop the ideas they bring to the table. Tesco said the team was looking for innovators to work with it in areas beyond its day-to-day operations. The focus will be on ideas to create a competitive advantage for the business and improve the way it serves shoppers. That sounds interesting. One such example is to begin trials of grocery home deliveries using airborne drones. Testing will be in Ireland, where its partner Manor already has a license to operate. Tesco says Manor has proved the capability, but the question will be is how does Tesco take that capability and apply it in the UK? That's being worked on now before it goes to trial. Trials are to focus on the delivery of just a few grocery items such as forgotten recipe items, with deliveries being made in as little as 30 minutes. Now that's it for this week, everyone. Catch me on Facebook on my Supermarket Sleuth or checkout pages. I'm also on the Supermarket Sleuth channel on YouTube and live on Weekend Live on Magic Talk radio station in New Zealand at 10:45 AM on Saturdays. Go to magic.co.nz and click on the Magic Talk lozenge at the top of the page. Otherwise you can hear my segment on my Supermarket Sleuth page from Saturday afternoon in your part of the world. That's all. Bye for now.